Hello, this is wmpyr. Yesterday, I was teaching doing a private class, and one of the things that I went over was this very important principle, which is paramount in the Filipino martial arts, and it may seem like common sense, and it probably is. That's a good thing. But it is good to go over it many times and make sure you know it very well. It's a hierarchy, okay? So first, let me just run through it real quick, and then we'll go into some details. So number one is for me to go my weapon on their flesh, okay? So weapon to flesh, but my weapon on their flesh. Even if they have a weapon, that's what I'm going for. This is my number one from best to worst. That's what I want. Number two is, if they have a weapon right here, is to go weapon on weapon, all right? This is not what I'm going for, but if it happens, it happens, you know? So this is my number two. Number three is to go flesh on flesh. So right now, my arm and their arm is making contact, so flesh on flesh. I really don't want that, but it might happen, you know? And then number four, this is the absolute worst. This is what I don't want, is their weapon on my flesh, okay? So that's real simple. Like I said, it's probably common sense for a lot of people, but let's explore that hierarchy a little bit more and get to know it more so it's something to work off of and become better at. So number one, like I said, weapon to flesh. I'm constantly going for this. I'm going for my weapon on their flesh, whether I have a knife, whether I have a baton, tactical flashlight, whatever. This is what I'm looking for, okay? And, you know, different areas of the arm or even the body, you know, like the blade edge, I'm going to prefer softer areas. And even better is what Professor Bram Frank says, which is biomechanical shutdown, where I could actually shut down his mortars, his ability to move his arm and stuff. So that would be even better. But that's the idea right there, okay? And then if I have an impact weapon, the idea is now I'm aiming for the harder areas. So if I have like a stick or a baton, now I'm going for like bone and stuff. Not to say that it's ineffective if I hit muscle or even the softer areas. I mean, it can still do damage. It can still be very helpful for me. But that's the main idea. Blade on the softer areas and for an impact weapon on the harder areas of the body, like bone and joints. Those are the things that you're aiming for. So anyway, that's weapon to flesh, right? So next I said weapon to weapon, right? That's number two. I don't really want this, and people see us train and do this all the time, so people mistakenly think that Filipino martial arts guy, this is all we're doing, is weapon to weapon. Like I said, this is not our primary choice. This is not what we really want. We want weapon to flesh, okay? But in training, we do this because we don't want to hurt each other. If I want weapon to flesh, gonna mess each other up. But we are practicing accuracy, so that I can go weapon to flesh. But in practice, I'm hitting on their weapon, so stick to stick, but I'm controlling where I'm hitting. And that was one of the things that my student was doing, was he was actually aiming for, rather than the top part of the stick, he was aiming for middle to lower area deliberately, on purpose, to get that kind of practice where he can control where you're hitting on the stick as you're doing partner training. So, same idea here. When we go, like let's say I have a blade right here, they have a blade. In this case, I don't want to go blade edge to blade edge, or blade edge to their weapon. I don't want to ruin my blade edge. Now, even if I did make contact, it may not make that big of a difference. I may still be able to cut them no problem. But, you know, every little detail may help, and so why risk it? So if I can, their blade edge against my spine, the spine of my blade, or the flat side, so that I don't ruin my edge, but I might be able to ruin theirs. So that's something extra to think about if you can, Okay, and then the next one, like I said, whether they have a weapon or not, is to go flesh to flesh. Whether I have a weapon or not, sometimes you may not have a choice. And in that case, you better know and you better be comfortable with flesh to flesh. And boom. And this also is a reminder to tell you that we definitely don't want, which is the next one, which is number 4, which is their weapon on my flesh. This is the lowest we go, right here, okay? So weapon on flesh, we don't want this at all. Now, that being said though, it may happen, hopefully not. So one of the things, this might sound a little crazy, but one of the things that I actually recommend for you guys is to get your stick and practice. You don't have to go hard, but go like this and practice receiving it, okay? Boom, just a little bit, okay? Obviously, if someone swings full force, you're not going to be able to take that, okay? But if you don't have a choice and you have to receive a blow, you want to be able to do as best as you can and minimize the damage as much as you can. But practicing this and seeing how this feels and knowing how much you can take without hurting yourself and how to kind of like ride the force off like I'm doing right there, it can help. It can help, and it's, once again, it's a reminder of knowing that this is something that you really want to avoid, is their weapon on your flesh. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.